That's a hot take.
Swinging around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass, but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Don't touch my records. Ever.
And we are live, and welcome to Hot Takes, an internet independent electronic, not necessarily electronic, but independent music show hosted by myself, vaporwave DJ Young Shiro, and my dear colleague, Skeleton Lipstick.
Hello.
So this is going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Skeleton Lipstick.
We've got Auragraph here. I completely forgot to throw up the
check it
static.
out. Derek's in the chat.
Yeah,
Derek's
so
in the chat.
just
Take
say
it, Derek.
hello because everybody
buddy.
gets to see your
Hey.
lovely face before they were supposed to.
Wait, we're supposed to
Let's throw the
communicate.
static up. Y'all pretend you didn't see that. It wouldn't be a hot takes without some mistakes, right? Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a exciting guest tonight who you've already seen, Auragraph, audio video whiz from the scene, genre bender, elite, friend of many. We're very excited to pick Carlos's brain tonight, and we want to thank each and every one of you who has chosen to be here. And just to remind y'all, if you like hot takes, tweet about our show, post it on Facebook, post it on Insta, invite a friend, subscribe, follow Instagram. We got a link tree. I'll post it. It's just linktree/hot takes vapor. Pat yourself on the back for being here. We're going to start out tonight's show with a respectful thank you to anybody that donated last week. We rolled out the PayPal donation link. I'll go ahead and post it in the chat. Asking for money is never fun, but any and all donations go straight to equipment upgrades and paying your friends to be artists, guests, making videos, whatever. We always give back to the community, and it's a great ecosystem. Went ahead and dropped the PayPal link if anyone wants to donate, if you feel so led. We want to thank our 3 top donors. If you didn't see the intro screen, we had an insane $69.69 from a Christopher. I don't want to botch your last name, homie. It was like Dizakowski. Please come through with a DM to me so I can thank you properly. $69.69. Groovy Kaiju and Soft Replica with $10 and $15 respectfully. Thank you guys. Y'all are the best, and we love you, and we appreciate the support. We're going to start off tonight with a couple recommendations. I'm going to take the helm tonight.
You guys don't mind, since I'm like, me, you guys notice I've been going through a little bit of personal issues lately. It's kind of made me have to go silent on Twitter for a minute just to get my head together. So I'm respectfully allowing my dear friend Isaac to please take over both the hot take and the music rec for now. And thanks, buddy. I appreciate you helping me out, and I appreciate you taking over both right now.
Always my good friend. We'll let you double time it next week. Want to start off with a recommendation by a business casual favorite. As you all know, I'm extremely picky when it comes to future funk. The greatest future funk is all subjective, right? But I am partial to the stuff that's very choppy and loopy, and that samples a lot of the 80s R&B. Not so much the city pop. I'm more of an 80s R&B kind of guy. No disrespect to city pop. One particular artist who's constantly hit heavily and does a lot of collabs is Barb Walters. As you know, we've taken Flipside as our ad hoc theme song, and that's by Barb Walters. And so I want to recommend specifically Roses by Barb Walters. Great album, hits hard as hell, very fun, very danceable. I'm certain a track or two from that album would make its way into one of your sets, Chris, or one of mine. So if you like future funk or vaporwave, you got to check out Barb Walters' Roses. On the more hip-hop influenced side, I would call him more vapor adjacent, but kind of on like a funk/vapor trap instrumental hip-hop level. Back When is an artist that not many people know about, but that I was introduced to through a handful of Vapor Trap playlists, mixes. And Back When is extremely good at the Vapor Trap and instrumental hip-hop vibe. It almost has, the album that I linked, Prisoner of Eternity, has like a late-night lo-fi, but with a hip-hop beat type of vibe. If you like bells and sultry piano and just late-night loungy vibes, but with a rolling bass line, you need to check out Back When's Prisoner of Eternity. Final recommendation, not to be corny, but I was a little late to the game, y'all, and I just got a copy of Auragraph's Opacity Field. Yes, you're not muted there, but nice, right? Auragraph's our special guest tonight. So I had to get his album, Opacity Field. I want to thank Lux specifically for putting me on to Auragraph. I don't think I told you that, Carlos. Lux, I can thank specifically for putting me on. And the album that had the acid disco track I had to get, and it did not disappoint. If you guys are fans of lo-fi house, if you're fans of like MIDI wave, like FM Skyline, Windows 96, hotel pools type stuff, you got to hear Opacity. Hang on, Young Shiro moment. Opacity Field by Auragraph. Post that in the chat. Featuring a remix actually by FM Skyline and Cat System Corp. Very, very excited to have our special guest on, and I recommend all of those albums solidly. So, since I've been given the floor, I'm going to go ahead and roll into our hot take for tonight as well. Names have been changed to protect the innocent. Calling back an older hot take from maybe 6 to 9 months ago. There is a very clear difference between sampling and stealing. Don't steal from your peers, guys. I'm not a producer, so it's probably not my place to judge, but it's one thing to flip a sample. It's one thing to just chop up and slow down a sample from somebody who already made their money. It's another thing to take somebody's whole album, slow it down a little bit, and pass it off as your own work. It's just not a good look. Full stop. Any commentary, Chris?
I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to say. I mean, I
would
agree
love the
with
devil's
you.
advocate.
I don't know, man. I don't really care. I understand what you're saying, and I agree in theory. I don't think I would do that, but I don't really kind of make that kind of music in the first place. But
True.
I don't know what the rules are here. I mean, what's the difference between taking from your peers and slowing down an album, and taking from Diana Ross and slowing down the album? What's the difference? Who's to say? What's the line here? I mean, when that happens, is it a statement on music? I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it. It is hard. Everyone has their own different rules for this sort of thing, but it's hard for me to pass judgment on anything these days. Just
I respect
the longer
you
I
for
look
that.
at stuff.
I'm such a judge compared to you.
Yeah, which is ironic because I'm kind of known for being, so intense. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate over here and say, I don't know what the rules are. Where's the beginning? Where's the end? It's not. Once again, it's not. I wouldn't do it, but and I really do think that if you do that, it's a gamble that you're going to get people angry at you. But
fair.
I don't know. What is the? It's hard to say what the difference is at the end of the day.
Jupiter has a great comment. He says, devil's advocate, I guess, was back in the day when people weren't making money on vaporwave. It made more sense. Once you get a dime, that's when you start drifting into stealing territory. All right, I feel that. The profit motive does make a difference.
Hey, what's up, Superflat?
Yeah, Superflat's here. What's up, buddy? We got a lot of first-time viewers tonight.
Superflat.
Very skilled
Good to see you, my friend. Also, you see Derek's in the chat right now for Secret Attraction. I know Auragraph did did a little bit of engineering work on his last album.
Secret Attraction. I've been a fan for ages. Since
we've been good friends with Derek for a long time. Oh, but anyway, back to my point. I'm sorry, you wanted to say something.
No, since Carlos has still not muted himself, let's go ahead and bring him up.
I don't know. Listen, here's the thing. I guess
you don't owe me an apology, do
Yeah. So once again, I'm going to go back to my take for a second.
Yeah.
Which is that I understand that people will be angry about that, and I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Vaporwave doesn't have rules. It's sort of really an odd thing It's an odd genre. You can do anything from make complex synthesizer-based, albums to just slowing down an entire album of somebody's work. And who's to say? That's like the thing about vaporwave is like I don't really know what the rules are. I don't really think there are
the
any.
scene's not new.
So, I didn't say it's like maybe it's not the best thing for somebody to do, but I don't know if there's any rules here. I don't think it breaks any rules. I wouldn't do it.
I just think it's
myself,
kind of scummy,
but I
guess.
don't. Yeah, I mean, it might be gauche. You know what I mean? You could say it's gauche to do that.
There's a
but
better
it
word.
depends. There's a better word. Sure. I mean, hey, listen.
Gauche.
I'm sure there's a better word. I'm not the judgment passing type. You know what I mean?
I respect
when it comes
you for
to art in general, and that can be, in my opinion, like the hoi polloi can go argue amongst that themselves.
Boy. Are you hearing this?
And like I just kind of stay above it because like I don't care. I mean, I care, but honestly, like everyone else can fight about it.
It's a quick way to make yourself persona non grata. That's for
It
sure.
is, but like also like some people are trying. That's some people's thing is to
True.
make themselves persona non grata. So what do you expect?
Boy, if
That's
you,
also like
no lie
on brand.
detected. No lie detected.
So like no lie detected. Like I'm not going to sit here and start telling people how they are supposed to make vaporwave or not supposed to make vaporwave when
True.
vaporwave has no rules. And if you do something that might be controversial, well, I think you probably already knew what the response would be, and maybe that was part of your whole statement in general. So, that's all I have. That's what I have to say. And I don't sit here and argue about these sorts of things.
Me neither.
Because oh no, I know. I don't sit here and argue because honestly, it's not even my world in the first place. Like I'm doing my own thing anyway. You know what I mean?
Way to be.
So,
Way to be.
I'm being devil's advocate, of course, but like pretty much what I believe in general about art. So, interesting, right? Good hot take.
Hey, thanks, man. So I took the Flames GIF away, but Auragraph, you're on cam now. Do you care to respond to
man?
that statement?
Hey, I don't know. It's like, sample whatever the fuck you want if it sounds cool, whatever. If you sample something and it becomes like really popular, you'll probably owe somebody money.
True.
At some point.
You're going to get in trouble probably. Like someone when you do that for a whole album, like I mean I don't know. I think you might have even done that on purpose because it's part of the part of your whole thing, and that's all right. But you're gonna get some vitriol from people but maybe you probably figured that might happen if you do that. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like, whatever. If it sounds cool, then it's like, just.
I mean, it's a common topic when people are people also like to gripe about, oh, this vaporwave is lazy and this vaporwave isn't lazy, right? Like this is original compositions and this guy just slowed and chopped a song. But at the end of the day, I mean, some of this stuff is pretty moving, is it not?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey man, it's not how I make music, but it's not how I would ever make music myself.
Right.
But
Yeah, same.
I don't know. I mean, I know you. Same. I mean, look at all those. Yeah. Look at all that gear in the back.
That is one reason I brought that hot take up. Both of y'all are known for your original compositions, so I figured y'all would both have a unique, take on.
That's true. That's true. Yes. It's an interesting thing to ask us because we mostly do a lot of original composition stuff, right?
Yeah.
Very true.
And our opinion is both like I don't know, like we make original composition stuff. But then But anyway, go ahead. Let's say hello to our friend right now.
I'm gonna let you take the lead on the biographical questions.
Oh, okay. Well, did we introduce our friend yet?
So Auragraph is a multi-skilled, multifaceted paragon of not only hardware, not only music, but also visual art as well. Auragraph creates immersive soundscapes, in my opinion. I think his sound font is his strength. Then again, this is all opinion, but Auragraph has been performing in mostly the Southern California area, but in all over the general Americas, in vaporwave and vapor adjacent spheres. Also on the 100% Electronica lineup, and a former collaborator with I believe it was Adam Kane on the After Dino After Hour. You remember that?
Yeah,
we talked about that briefly. Good friend.
But yeah.
We are very, very happy to have you on the show, Carlos.
Yeah, very excited to be here.
So, Chris.
Yes.
is probably going to want to know how you got into what you do.
Okay.
And I'll ask all the crazy questions later.
So yeah, let's start there. Can I ask you when you really, when did you really first start connecting with music in general? Just like what did you listen to growing up as a kid? Like what was your first sort of thing that kind of made you really like music? Did you have a musical family? You know?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess I started like playing around with like piano when I was like really young. I was like 6, which I like took piano classes and like really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I have no memory of this because like I was so young, but
Wild.
my parents put me in classes or whatever, and I just like started learning piano. But I think like the first memory of like really kind of like listening to music and being like, oh, this is like pretty fucking sick, you know? I was playing like, I think it was like Zelda Majora's Mask
Very
or something on Nintendo 64. And I was like pretty young, but I remember like it piqued my ear, you know? I was like, oh, the
Really?
soundtrack on this is like really cool. Like I really just liked listening to all the different sounds. I think, what's his name? Koji Kondo.
Mm-hmm.
He also did like the Super Mario. I think he does like a bunch of the
Renowned
Nintendo.
composer.
Yeah, he's an amazing composer. But yeah, that was kind of like the first time I like was like listening to like music, and it was like just in a video game. But I was like, oh man, this is like.
There's a lot of people who have actually said that on the show before, that their first big
That's cool.
experience with like being moved by music was soundtracks for video games, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure Quip said something similar to that.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But a lot of people have said that actually. Some that are, who else has said that? It'll come to me eventually, but we've had a lot of people who mentioned that before. And
Tech
I
Honors
honestly,
probably had a
I'm thinking
video
Tech as
game.
well, but there
Yeah.
was even somebody more recent than that was saying the same thing, but I can't remember.
well, you know,
offhand
I
at the
never
moment.
resist an opportunity. I think it was Golden Living Room. Never resist.
Oh,
an
Golden
opportunity to
Living Room,
ask
that's
people
right, yeah.
What their
Yeah,
favorite
that's
like
cool.
JRPG is or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like I guess probably my earliest memory of like listening to music. And like I remember I made my mom buy me the CD. It was like a
Really?
Japanese CD. I still have it. And I think she bought it on eBay or something.
Unreal. That's cool as
Yeah.
fuck.
Like,
That's interesting. And
that's
oh, go
probably
ahead,
my
I'm sorry.
first CD that I ever.
Really, that was your first CD.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have any other
Uh,
favorite video game OSTs?
You know, I didn't play too many video games growing up. Like, I pretty much just had like a Nintendo 64
Right.
and like loved Super Mario 64 and like
Nice.
obviously like Donkey Kong Country was like
Yeah.
what's his name?
David Wise. I almost said
Yeah.
Ray Wise, but no, it was David. Two great
Yeah,
Wises.
his work is incredible as well. But
Really?
yeah, like that's kind of like I guess like the first like introduction into like music. And it's funny how it like because like I definitely like, you know, listened to that, and then like as I was growing up and my tastes changed or whatever, like I started listening to like Green Day and like Blink-182 and like watching like MTV and like
Nice.
Fuse TV, and I was like, man, I want to be like a punk rocker and like play guitar and shit. And so like I ditched piano and ditched all like the classical stuff that I had like learned from like
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what that's sort of like the way this goes is. And first of all, I actually want to go back to the thing. It's very interesting that that video games and the soundtrack for video games was a big influence on you, because when you play a video game, particularly at a young age, you're entering a whole world, and like you're playing that video game for so long that soundtrack becomes like, even if you weren't really into music yet, because you're too young to really think about it as a concept, as having taste in something, the fact that soundtrack plays over and over again and over and over again as you're trying to, particularly in an RPG where you're trying to solve quests, like it gets burned into your mind, right? And if you're somebody who's musically inclined and you don't realize it yet, and that could be inclined as in you want to listen to a lot of music or you want to play music, video games are a really big way where I can see that someone might fall in love with music. You know what I mean? If like you're someone who already has it in you to fall in love with music, playing video games at a young age is going to make you aware of it, because you're just surrounded by music for hours as you play that game.
It's like a gateway drug or something.
It is, yeah. But also interesting. So then you got into like punk hardcore stuff. I think that makes a lot of sense too. A lot of us did that because it was a form of rebellion. It's another way of like, also it's like a way of like, you know, I can make music fast, I can make it quickly, and I can like make my statement fast. I can make it, and I can do it. Anybody can do it, right? It's very vaporwave too, right? You're like, oh, okay, I can like guitar. I need to play a few chords, have some things to say, and then we can get some friends. So anyway, you were saying, so you started getting into punk and hardcore and such, yes?
Yeah, for sure. And like, I bought my first guitar when I was like 12, and like just started like, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna like play piano anymore. Like that's fucking lame, you know, whatever. I'm just gonna like learn guitar and like make loud, obnoxious music. And then I did that. Like I played guitar in different bands and shit. So I was like probably like 18.
Wild.
Yeah. And so I guess that, you know, it's not that many years. Like it's like from when I was like 13 to 18, but
True.
When you're that young, it feels like a lifetime of like.
Well, yeah, it's like all of high school. It basically is a lifetime. High school itself, high school in general is basically like one lifetime that we live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a whole world of like.
It is. It's a whole world. It's like a very what's the word? It's like in a very like, you know, your 4 years in high school are extremely long in like the process in like the spectrum of our life, right? Like they're a whole like closed environment that you don't ever really repeat again once it's over. So yeah, it is a long time to just do that and to just play punk, even though it's even though like, you know, duration wise, it is a
felt like
very short period of time. But in regards to the impact that has on our life, and if we waited all the periods of our life, you know, you might not do anything for like fucking like 6 years of your life in your 40s or whatever, and may all be the same. And then those 4 years in high school are very impactful. So yeah, I would still consider that a long period of time. So anyway, after 18, then what happened?
Well, after 18, so I grew up in this town called Laredo, Texas, which is like
what
on the border.
Yeah, I'm from Del Rio, homie. No way.
No way.
That's wild.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Okay, Laredo. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Small world too. I mean, this always happens with music. You know, you like meet people, and it's just like the pond gets smaller. You know, it's
unreal.
I don't know. It's really interesting.
I can't believe you're from Laredo.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess when I was like 18, I moved to Austin, and yeah, that kind of like totally changed. Like I knew from when I was really young that I always wanted to pursue music. Like that was like my first, and like it's still like kind of my only goal. Like I just want to like be a musician and like play music and make sounds and stuff. But when I moved to Austin, I started experimenting with like electronic music because there was like a pretty decent scene there.
Nice.
And that's kind of how I got my footing into like learning about like synths stuff. But yeah, we were talking about sampling earlier, and like I tried just like going to record stores, finding a bunch of like obscure records and like slowing them down and just like making records out of like complete records, just like pitching shit down. And it was always like really bad music.
That's funny.
So I was like, okay, I don't think I can be a sampling person. I think I need to like play stuff again.
Right.
So
I was really bad at sampling. I'm always bad at sampling.
I'm like really bad at sampling.
Well, I can definitely add a sample or two into my music, but it's really hard for me to make like something that sounds good with just a sample. I'm bad at it. I've tried it before, and like I have to add something else to it, or else like I don't know, man. It just sounds like shit. Like people are much better at it than me, so I just leave it to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, we got a huge backlog of questions. Are you all right with us?
We do. Well, they all want to know about the synthesizers.
The first question wants to know what your favorite vintage synth is.
Wait, are we ready for that yet?
I hate to cut you off, but we're like 8 questions deep, bro. What do you think?
Like I wanted to get. We didn't even get into.
Let me get through like 2 of them. Yet. Is that cool? Can we get through like 2 of them?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I wanted
favorite vintage synth.
Favorite vintage synth?
Yes.
I mean, that's a really hard question for me to answer, but like I really do love my SH-101, which is what I use live.
See if I can
yeah, I have the SH-101 too. I love that boy.
Let me move this so that people can
Which one?
see.
You have you got the gray one with the the...
Can you point it out again? I'm sorry. I'm setting up the video capture on OBS. For anyone that's tuning in via podcasting, this man has like 10 or 15 synths.
Oh my god!
And they're all like hardware too. He's got like a mass of cables here.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I mean-
Sorry, just got it in the video.
Yeah.
feed.
No, I love the 101. I think it's really cool and flexible, and like that was like it wasn't my first analog synth, but it was my first like mono bass synth, and I just like learned how to use it really well.
It's a really easy one to learn on too. You know what I mean?
It's
Because
amazing.
like the sliders, it's very simple layout, so it's really easy to learn the basics of how a synthesizer works using that one. Like I have the SH101 as well, and like it was really helpful before you start moving up to some more of the more complicated analog or like digital / analog 80s synthesizers.
Yeah, totally. And when you use it live, it's like, I mean, it
So
sounds fucking huge.
You
Like,
use it live and it stays like in tune for you and everything. You're not playing with the tuner or anything. It like stays. It doesn't like
yeah, it's
drift.
perfect. Like,
Wow.
Well,
I've always been
I've got
too
it.
paranoid to bring that live. Bring any of that.
Yeah.
I'm always too paranoid to bring any synths live for the most part.
Right.
Because like
Yeah.
I don't know how you
work,
guys
but-
do modular synths live. That's a nightmare to set up, I'm sure.
well, you know, modular synths, like, people, like, there's so many opinions. Like, I'll get on Twitter and, like, I'll see a tweet that, like, oh, like, blah, blah, modular synths are, like, super fucking lame or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it looks, like, super crazy. But it's not anything too complex. Like, if you can just, like, if you can play the 101 and, like, learn how that works, like this
I think those people are just intimidated. All right, let me pan.
Well, I have
one
some
more
opinions
time.
on modular synths as well in a moment.
Yeah,
Hey,
well, like,
yeah. While I have it zoomed out, another question. Somebody just asked what all the synths on the rack were. I don't know if you want to name them
God.
all or.
yeah. Okay.
And I'm gonna get
Well-
a good shot of them all really quick for everybody.
Let
Okay.
me,
Okay,
yeah, I
they
can
are all
hear-
visible now.
okay, if you're zoomed in, I can start from the top. This is an 808 clone drum machine.
Okay.
Sounds really good. Then over here we have the Korg monopoly.
Oh my God, that Korg
Turn you up a bit.
monopoly.
Yeah,
That's my
classic.
favorite. That's my favorite. Keith Rankin actually, when I played a show with Giant Claw several years ago, like 6 years ago, and he brought 2 monopolys with him when he played.
Oh
Actually,
man, that's so fucking cool.
I don't think
Yeah,
he does that. I don't think Keith does
Unreal.
that anymore, but he did back then.
Yeah, they sound amazing. Like, they're great. Then this one's a Roland SH2, which
Ooh.
is
Some good
very
names
similar
there.
to the 101, but this is a like late 70s Roland. And it has 2 oscillators, whereas the 101 just has 1 oscillator. This thing is like much fatter and beefier
Really?
than the 101. It just sounds like pretty aggressive. And it can do like really like squelchy leads, kind of like a Moog, but like it's like a Roland.
I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh man.
Then we got the 101 and my modular synth that has a few different synths in it. Then over here is the Prophet 10,
Oh,
which
nice.
I'm actually borrowing from my friend Michael Stein. He lent it to me for
Of
a little bit.
Survive by chance.
Yeah, of Survive.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Those questions are definitely coming later. Anyways, proceed.
Cool. And then I got a little TR-606 drum machine. And the 808 and 606 work, like they're all like hooked up to clock on Logic, which is what I use. So if I just like type in the BPM, they're like perfectly in sync. So I can just like,
Unreal.
yeah, I can
That's
just like
cool.
catch like drum patterns. And then I don't know if you can see, maybe I should like move this down a little
Perfect.
bit, but I got a Jupiter 6 right here,
Man.
which is, I mean, that's probably my favorite poly
That's
synth.
that's a really big one to have. Wow.
Yeah, and then I have a Super JX right here. That's also a really great synth. And then at the very bottom, I have a Insonic TS10 that I bought from George because he was selling it.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
It was in his garage, and I was like, dude, I'll
Shout
buy
out
that.
George.
Yeah. And then I have a few more. Like I have rack shit that's like on the sides over here that you can't see, but
Very
that's all my
cool.
digital stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Let me
Thank
get
you
you
for
back
the
in
tour.
frame real quick. Hey, yeah, thank you, Chris. I give you the floor, sir. Thank you for that.
Oh, do I have the floor? I mean, oh no, I forgot what I was even gonna say now. All right, so Okay, so then what happens again after we're done with maybe playing guitar so much? What makes you decide to move away from guitar and try something else?
So it's kind of funny. Like I was just at this bar in Austin with my friend. He was my roommate at the time, and we both got like pretty drunk. And he was like, yeah, man, like we should try to make some like taiko sounding music, like some chill
taiko.
wave.
Very cool. Taiko launched so many careers. I swear to God, him and Com.
I love taiko. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
He said like, why don't we try and do like something like taiko?
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah,
let's make
can't go
something
wrong.
like taiko. We were both pretty drunk, and I was like, yeah, dude, that sounds fucking easy. Like,
That's fun.
let's just fucking make a bunch of like chill, instrumental tracks, whatever, no vocals. And then we pirated Ableton the next day,
Wow.
and we like tried to do it. We were like hungover. We were like, this is the hardest fucking thing ever.
You're like, oh my god,
You
there's
didn't make
so
it
many
to Stratford Court, huh?
Yeah, no, we.
You're like, oh my god, there's so many frequencies to balance. How the fuck do you like? It isn't like just playing and recording on a 4-track.
Yeah, it took us like a month to make like the worst song you've ever heard.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It is like it's deceptive because it's so breezy sounding the first time you hear it. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, you just
Right. Just
they
make
press a
pleasant
button.
stuff.
Yeah, the arpeggio happens. All I gotta do is hold down a button. Like, yeah, it's so open. They're only hitting so
Yeah,
many
you play
notes, and then
little
you're like, oh my god, it's
vocal-
all in the subtleties. It's all in the balance of the textures. It's all in the spatial plane that you put the sounds in.
Well, yeah,
You're like,
and
fuck,
like
how do I do this? Like, yeah.
for me, like I was trying to like use a bunch of like VST, like nothing against VSTs or anything. Like they're incredible, but for me, like I couldn't replicate the sounds that I was hearing in like Aphex Twin or like Boards of Canada.
Shout out Aphex
Yeah.
Twin. Shout out Boards of Canada.
Yeah,
I
You
can't
have good
use
taste, sir.
VSTs. I'm really bad with VSTs as well. I mostly use hardware for what I do also. And
Yeah.
it's mostly also because, like, I don't know, man. I use a laptop and the VSTs drain the fuck out of my like memory, and I can't like do anything. Like, I can put up like
Sure.
one instance of Serum, and then like that's it. And like all of a sudden, like I can't like run my Ableton anymore. So
Yeah.
I just record in with mostly synthesizers also for my stuff. But I use a little bit of. So you don't use any VSTs. You don't use any soft synths, something like that.
I do use VSTs sometimes. Like I'll use
Well,
like Omnisphere or like
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
just like software like compressors and stuff like that.
Okay, so yeah, you'll use like a little bit something for texture, like you'll throw in. So when I use VSTs or like let's be more specific, a VST soft synth, I sometimes use it because like I can't actually make that sound with a synthesizer.
Yeah.
Like that's usually the only time
You got like an exclusive on the computer.
Yeah, there's like a really like if I like want to make like something that's like some kind of like really weird thing where I have to have like several different oscillators for it, and like it's just like a very specific sort of like weird thing that I need to make. Like that's when I use Serum. But aside from that, oh yeah, I know I mostly use like I don't use VSTs that much either. But anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just like funny. Like the first time I got the SH-101, I like started playing with it. It started to click a little more. I was like, oh, this box makes the sounds that my ears really drawn to. You know. And now that I know how that works, like if I use the Rolling Cloud SH-101, I can dial it in. It sounds fine. But for me, I think I needed to learn how this shit worked so that I could make the sounds that I wanted to make, I guess.
Makes sense.
I have to get better at software synths because that's the only.
I have to get better at all of that because it all looks terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you learn. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's always like I'm learning so much new shit every day too. It's like
Good man.
you can never learn. You can never know, everything, which is cool. Like it's I don't know. It's nice like that you can keep building and expanding on like what you already know.
Yeah, you're someone who really I think seems to like enjoy the process of learning the instrument itself, the device, and I don't call it an instrument. Let's call it a device. The being. I mean, you really seem to be very interested in the process of how the sound is going to be made. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be a very big thing with you. and that's why you like I see you like getting very into like you offer to a lot of people is adding that tape, the tape mastering with yeah. So like you have a lot of different things, not just synthesizers, to add textures to your work. So is that why you started getting into synths? Because like you tried the software, it didn't really work for you, but then you decided I'm gonna actually get the box itself and see if I can make the sounds that I want to hear from that. And then you just
thank you. That was one of Syllabus's questions.
Yeah, exactly. And in Austin, there used to be, I mean, this place still exists, but there was this synth kind of like store and repair shop called Switched On.
Switched?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool, and like they used to have this. They probably still have it, but like you could go in and track any synth on the floor for an entire hour for $30. And like I did that a few times, and I was just like, every time I would play like a hardware synth, it just clicked naturally for me to like play it and like feel it and like adjust the parameters. Like I knew how to like do that better than like using my mouse to like automate shit.
Yeah, and once again,
it's probably more ergonomic.
Nothing against software synthesizers, because that is the way that people can access sounds and create music for a lot cheaper. And if you have a small apartment or you don't have much space, or you don't have the money to buy a synthesizer, this is what you do, and it's a wonderful thing that they're available for people to use. I just wasn't very good at using them myself, and I'm trying to get better at it. That's the only reason. And the same thing for you. You learned on this because it just made more sense to you.
Yeah,
Fellas,
exactly.
two people have just asked what you're drinking.
Oh,
what are you drinking?
So, my girlfriend made me a spicy margarita.
Oh, that's really sweet of her.
Yeah, and then I have a Pacifico Tall Boy.
Very cool.
Like double.
I already knew the answer to that, but too many people wanted to know.
That's cool.
Very sweet of your girlfriend to make that for you.
For
the interview. She has good taste.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what was the next question I was going to ask you? Because really quick question about synthesizers. I know you're working with a lot of vintage analog synthesizers over there. How do you feel about digital synthesizers? At what point are you not using? I mean, do you use any digital synthesizers? Let's start with that question first.
Yeah. So like what you can't see are these like racks I have on either side of my studio, and they're all full of digital synths. Like
Wow. Which one's your favorite?
Good question.
Probably the Korg Wave Station.
Oh, really?
Heard that name a time or two.
Yeah.
Wave Station. Interesting.
It's great. And then another one that I really like is I have it down here, is the Roland JD 990.
Oh yeah.
It's like I think it's like the JD 800 that has like all these crazy like sliders on it, and it's like super 90s, but like this box is great. Like every patch sounds like video game music. Like
I love
just
it.
90s.
Oh man, I can only imagine like the hours that you could just lose just playing with all the different sounds.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, there's some of these like late '80s or mid '80s stations, like the Roland JVs and stuff. They have all these like memory cards out there that you can buy with the different types of sound, and like people go crazy over trying to collect them all. And it's a whole thing. It's expensive,
you gotta have
man.
room for that shit.
Well, also it's just like it's sometimes like intimidating. You're like, man, I gotta like buy all these like. Because you feel like if I don't have all these cards, like, am I missing something? Am I missing all the cool sounds? Oh my gosh. Do you have a question? Do you have a D50 or D550?
Yeah, I have a D550 in my rack.
D550.
Do you have the little controller for it as well?
No, I wish I had that.
I finally got some. I finally have something Extra doesn't have. I've got that PG 1000 controller and the D550 as well. That's my main synth that I use for a lot of skeleton lipstick music. Is that, and that thing is crazy too, because there's so many parameters. Well, there's like so many parameters on it that they no longer use as parameters for digital synths, because it's like one of the sort of like 1986 ones where they didn't really know exactly what people needed to modulate and what they didn't need to modulate. So there's like 60 different things parameters on that fucking thing that you can play around with and change. It doesn't make any sense practically anymore by like
modern ideas of how
modern
we like
standards.
synthesize.
Yeah,
But
it's like yeah, it's crazy. Like each, I guess on the D550, it's like 4 sounds stacked.
Yes, there's 4 sounds. And,
Unreal.
like, then there's like waveforms or a
Sick.
sample that you can choose
Yeah.
for it, and like I have the controller for that. I like fucked around with it. Like I actually don't.
Cool.
I fuck around with that thing all the time, and like it's like made like a lot of my music, a lot of my
Yeah.
my
Dude.
music, like Real Time Lover, my song is like all raw on D550 pretty much, and all the different ways of fucking around to make shit. And
Yeah.
I cannot believe I have a piece of gear that you do
Yeah.
not have.
Top 5 skill.
I
jealous.
think- literally, the only reason I've been asked about that one, I'm like, I wonder if you got the controller.
Yeah, I wish I had the controller. The controllers are like $1,000.
I know. I got really lucky.
Brit.
I bought it several years ago. Yeah.
That's like
And I
2
got-
PS5s.
I got
Okay.
this synth for $100. You know?
Wow, that's a great deal.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, the fucking controller is worth more than the the synth. You know?
Yeah, no, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
All
We
right,
got a couple
so,
Skelly-esque questions that, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and
Skelly-esque
catch us up
questions?
on.
Go
A couple
for it. Yeah,
questions
catch us
that
up.
were usually kind of up your alley. Somebody says, I heard Auragraph works in the industry down in SoCal. What do you do as your day job?
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that question eventually.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Why don't we just have him talk about it now, I guess?
Yeah. Well, right now I'm working on Stranger Things, which is a Netflix
Yep.
show.
Very cool.
You have
In case you guys aren't familiar with Stranger Things,
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm sure
You
you
gotta
guys
watch
all
it.
are. Yeah, our boy here is he's the mix engineers, sound
Yeah,
engineer.
sound engineer.
it's a score mix engineer. So I
Or
like
mix engineer.
I take all the music that Michael and Kyle write for the show, and then I mix it and I deliver it to the stage, and then they drop it in. And it's great. It's an awesome job.
I
We've
love
been
that.
working on it for the last 8 months, which is a long time. But yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Somebody actually had, I guess, already knew the answer to that, and they said, I'd love to hear about the experience doing the Stranger Things scoring.
yeah. Well, you know, it's a really cool process. Like, kind of what happens. We like link up with editorial, and they give us like rough cuts of the episode,
Okay.
and we'll get the episodes, and we'll do like our internal review where we're like, this is where we need to score something, and we'll make these markers like in our Logic session, and I'll make like the template, give it to the guys, and then they'll like go and do their thing, and then we'll send it off to the duffers, and like they'll check it out, and sometimes they'll have like notes or feedback or whatever, and then once it's approved, we'll take all of that, like the stems and stuff, and we'll send it off. And we also will do like spotting sessions where we go to Netflix in person, and we like sit with the whole music department and the sound department, and we just talk about the sound, and we like watch the entire episode, and we like go through each minute, basically like minute by minute, like, okay, like here we need like an emotional piece of music, or here we need something that's like really intense and like
Right.
very synth driven,
Something
you know.
swells or something that like just jars.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, Michael and Kyle like are amazing at what they do, and I think they've written probably like 1,000 pieces of music this
Right.
this season.
It's unreal. Chris, do you remember when Survive was a thing and they were just like, they were kind of into like chill wave and chill wave adjacent,
Yeah.
kind of witch house adjacent sphere?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, then there's Survive, and now they're like, yeah, they make the Stranger Things soundtrack.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
Very
let
cool.
me ask you, how did you get into that world? How did you get involved in that?
Well, I met Michael out here in LA, and I think this was like in between seasons 2 and 3, and they were just about to start working on this like National Geographic show,
Nifty.
and I like was helping him move synths into his new studio. So I was just like helping him out, you know, wherever he needed help. And then he hit me up and he was like, hey man, like we need, you know, an assistant to help us with like the day-to-day stuff. Would you be interested in helping us out? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like I would love to do that.
Right.
And yeah, I got to quit my full-time job and just
Yes.
help them out, which
We
was
love to see
Amazing.
Vapor Homies quitting the 9 to 5.
Love it.
Yeah,
It's so
it was-
cool.
it was a dream. Like, and I'm still helping them out, it's awesome.
We had a couple
Amazing.
people in chat.
Amazing.
Patch Notes wants to know if you went to school for that, and Ognos wants to know what you did before that.
Those are good questions. I went to school for film
Very cool.
at UT Austin. So I just like, yeah, I was like doing like kind of more like documentary stuff. But when I was at the school, I was like always offering like composing services to like my peers. Like I was like, hey, if you need music, you know, like that's kind of what I want to do.
I love
But there was not really like there wasn't really like a course for that or like a, you know, a major that was like composing related.
it. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I did the film route because I was like, well, I'm still interested in like how movies are made and shit. So I didn't go to like music school or anything. But yeah, after I finished school, I moved to LA, which was like 2015, I think. And I worked at this like a film advertising company that made movie trailers.
Oh.
And I moved into the music department, just like making what's called like a cue sheet, which is basically just like you send it to the client, like let's say the client's Netflix.
Gotcha.
And you get this sheet that basically says like these are all the pieces of music being used in this trailer. You're gonna need to pay these people for the music, you know. So I was doing that for like a year and a half. before I
The
quit.
samples that they used. Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It was cool.
Got a couple
It
other
was-
cool questions. One person
Yeah,
asked,
yeah.
what is the Auragraph world like? What inspires the project visually, sonically, etc.?
Oh, that's a good question.
Another person
because
asked
you got
who
a lot
you're-
of- you have a strong visual component to your work as well.
Yeah, well, you have
Yeah.
faces in all of your album covers, I swear. So I wanted to kind of know about that too, but the broader
Yeah.
question is probably a little better.
I'm glad somebody noticed because, yeah, I that's kind of like become like a joke within, like, just for me. I'm like humoring myself where I'm like, let's see how many records I can get away with putting like this model, 3D model of like a bass. you know?
Interesting.
Yeah. But I find those like 3D models kind of interesting just because they look so like human, but also like abstract and like not really human, which I think kind of like
Right? Very
That's
like
kinda like-
suspended disbelief, uncanny
Right.
valley type
Like
shit.
Benny Valley stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of what Auragraph, the sound to me is like. It's synthesizer music made from the perspective of like someone who used to be in a band, so it's like kind of has like a band feeling to it, but it's
Yeah.
still
does.
like otherworldly sci-fi video
Very
game
much so.
music, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's kind of like linked in that sense.
I
Yeah,
love
I'm forgetting the other
Apparently,
question.
Lux asked that question. Thank you, Lux. Always good questions from the
Yeah.
Queen. The other question was somebody wanted to know. Sorry, I don't remember who it was that asked. Who is your biggest inspiration?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I don't know if it's like a person or like an artist. It's probably more like situation based or like
That's actually a really cool answer.
Interesting answer. Go elaborate, sir.
Like emotions or like places.
yeah, or like color palettes or like gradients or
Color
even like
palette.
Okay.
environment.
You don't have chromesthesia, do you?
I don't think so. But I do think that like there's a link between like music and like colors or art,
Absolutely.
you know?
For sure.
And it's funny because like in vaporwave, I feel like it pretty much in every genre, like album art, you know, in some genres more than others, like album art, like seen as like very important, or it's just seen as like, you know, we're trying to like sell a product and maybe
Right.
it's not
Like
that
it's
deep or
packaging.
anything.
That's it.
Yeah, but I think in vaporwave, like there's like a cool connection between the two, and like in a lot of artists' records, like I'll see the art and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like what, you know, in my opinion, the music sounds like or something. So I think I'm kind of like
I love that. You're like
yeah,
creating
inspired
songs for images,
exactly.
or pairing them, perhaps. Do you
Yeah.
typically, because you make your own album artwork, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
actually,
Although
that
one-
too.
typically create the album
Correct.
artwork first, or the songs first, or do you do it kind of in the middle?
I think the art comes in between making the music.
Too cool.
But yeah, sometimes I'll like, whenever I'm like making a record or something, I'll like start out with like a bunch of songs, like maybe like 20, 30 songs. And then I start narrowing it down and I'm like, okay, like
Nice.
now this is feeling like a certain flow and a certain like aesthetic. And then I'll like make the art. And then the art influences the rest of the tracks, you know?
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, it kind of plays off each other, I guess.
Well, we got a couple other
So,
questions in the
I-
chat. Oh, well, go ahead,
Can I ask
Chris.
a question?
Go ahead,
How
please.
did you get into the digital design work? How did you get into that?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like when, like I guess kind of like within the DIY scene, I was kind of always making like flyers and stuff.
Okay, so you were
And I
already
Very
think
cool.
Yeah, I think
visually
it's-
oriented in the first place.
Right, yeah. And even when I was like really young, I was always like carrying a sketchbook around and like would just draw random stuff. So I think that kind of like, I don't know. At some point I was like, well, you know, anybody can become a visual artist if you just like do it enough times. It's like kind of like putting in your 10,000 hours or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like, I was like, well, I think at this point I can like make album art work that I'm like satisfied with, and also I don't have to like pay anybody, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
You like save a little bit, like save a couple $100 on that. So yeah, it kind of came out of a
Somebody's a
necessity,
jack
but
of
I
all
was
trades.
yeah, it's not a bad thing to learn
Not
for
at all.
sure. But yeah.
So, Be Careful wants to know some specifics. He wants to know if you work in regular stereo or surround sound 5.1 with 5 to 8 studio monitors. I
Just
think-
stereo.
Stereo. And
Usually,
simple sorry, go ahead.
usually, no, I was gonna say usually I just use these.
Yo, can you tell us the brand and model? For
Yeah,
the audio
they're
files out there.
Audio Technicas. I don't know what model they are, but they're like the really cheap ones. They're like $60.
Very cool. Yeah, I think those were recommended to me by Enrail actually, and Will Wade.
Yeah, mine are like falling apart, but my downstairs neighbors are kind of assholes, so I like
Damn. Been there.
I don't have the luxury of like listening on like monitors like super loud
Aw.
anymore, unfortunately. But this works fine, you know.
Hey man, I mean, I'm sure you give it the car test afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Simple Syrup also had a little bit of a technical question. Simple Syrup says, what color gradient is the Auragraph discography?
It's like, I think it's mostly blue. Like blue with a little bit of lavender or something.
Your music is very chrome to me.
Yeah, it does have
But
that
I'll
as
take
well.
the
Um,
artist himself.
Yeah, well, I'm just like looking, I'm trying to go on Spotify and like look at the actual album artworks, and I think like most of them have like a shade of blue, which I should probably change for the next release.
Hey,
but I
nothing
like-
wrong with sticking to a good brand.
Yeah, I mean my hair's blue, so
There you
it's like-
go.
yeah.
We have a good question from Soft Replica, a good friend of the show. As someone who has a varied sound that ranges lots of different influences, how do you feel about the vaporwave tag specifically? Is it constraining sometimes?
That's a really good question. I don't think so. I
Begs the
feel like
question.
vaporwave is very like, we were kind of touching on this a little earlier, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like a modern day like punk, you
Yeah.
know, movement,
agree.
where,
The doctor says it all the time.
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like there's so many different types of vaporwave that it's like you can kind of make, I mean, I make instrumental electronic music, but you can incorporate vocals with vaporwave. You can have like albums that are completely sample based. You can have albums that sound super 80s,
Yeah.
super 90s, or even like a whole new futuristic type of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
You have so
Appreciate
much.
the freedom of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are
I
no
don't think
rules.
Training. I think it's like pretty freeing, if anything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with the idea of it being freeing. I agree with the idea of it's like, well, you know, almost like, yeah, it is punk in its idea of like, sure, of its idea of like, well, there's not particularly an exact way to do it. You know, you can do it any way you want, and also it's punk in the fact that it's like a networked DIY community. You know what I mean? In the same
True,
way
yeah.
punk hardcore is, it's a networked DIY community of people across the world, right? That have labels, art, music, fashion, venues, etc., other forms of media, and that's kind of like
Right.
the whole thing, right? Just a digital version. It's just a digital era version of that.
Well, yeah. Now
Well
it's,
said.
you know, you have so many like in real life events that are happening with something that started like on the internet, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's much bigger than just an internet genre,
Yep.
which is cool.
Agreed.
Mhm.
It has escaped its confines.
Yeah.
It has moved from genre to paradigm.
That's when you know
Yeah.
it's here to stay.
Sure.
Vaporwave
Yes.
is not dead.
Yes.
Very good question in the chat. I will hope y'all will forgive me. Don't recall who asked the question. I think it was Syllabus. What are your plans for your future? Do you have any specific goals for your art, music, or career?
That's a good question. I don't know.
That's like, these are very good questions, by the way. Everyone's been asking.
They
I feel like
are-
this is like the fifth time the actor's been like, "This is a good question."
That's why I don't
I'm
feel
like,
bad
yeah,
for
and I'm like,
interrupting.
yeah,
I'm
it
like,
is a good.
These are
people
the
really
questions
bringing out
Chris
good questions for
brings
this
to the
one.
show.
Yeah, I don't even have to ask the question. Too many questions
Right.
this episode
Shout
because
out,
everybody
chat.
keeps doing ones that I would
Everybody
do. and-
pat yourself on the shoulder.
Wow. All right. Thinking about that question, I am going to get an Advil, but I'll be right back. Okay, guys?
Cool,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Trying to think of like future. I mean, I have a record that's gonna come out in a month or two, so
Awesome.
that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, you just went to Dais. Is that how you pronounce it? Dais?
Yeah.
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 Congratulations, homie.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're gonna do a record together. I think it's coming out in July, so like that's
Dais
definitely in the
is-
future. But like,
Awesome.
I don't have any like concrete plans. I want to make more music, you know.
I love it.
So yeah, just see what I have a lot of ideas for different themes of like records. So I kind of want to just see what will work for the next one. But I think I have a good
Hell yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Simple Syrup actually just popped up a good one that I kind of want to strike while the iron is hot. Do you make any other music outside of the Auragraph project?
Yeah, my girlfriend and I have a band together.
That's too cool. Are you comfortable name dropping or possibly even linking in the chat if you're able?
Sure. Yeah, I'm not in the chat, but
You're good. Lux will find it in about 10 seconds.
Awesome. Yeah, so we had a project. So we're probably going to change the name of it, but we had a project called Boy Like with no
Boy-like.
spaces. Yeah, and we had a song called Sleeping In. That's like a single we put out. But
Gotcha.
I don't know. I think we're going to kind of like rethink the sound. I mean, it's kind of like bedroom pop and
Fun.
music.
That's the
yeah.
perfect kind of music to do with your partner. Bedroom pop.
Yeah, it's awesome. And she has an amazing voice. So yeah, I think we're gonna
Lux
like.
found it. Thank you, Lux.
Wow. She's quick on the draw.
Amazing. That's Carlos's side project. A
Yeah, it's
bedroom
my
pop
side
project with his partner.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna cut a record sometime this year.
I
See
love
what-
it.
See what happens. But those are the only two that I have going on at the moment.
The question that was posed by In Rail, I think, is a good one, and he wants to know: do you have any recommendations for remote audio jobs? Forgive me
Any
if that was not in Rail.
Oh.
It was.
Well, I think a good place to look, I don't know of any, like, off the top of my head, but kind of in the off seasons when I'm not doing, like, Stranger Things work, I'll, like, work for a lot of podcasts, just, like, editing their dialogue, like, cleaning up stuff, which is, like, really easy to do. So I would look for that kind of work, because there's
editing
so
their
many...
dialogue. Like, you
Yeah, there's
just,
so many...
if somebody, like, mumbles something, you'll find a way to make it more, like, easier to hear.
Kind of, or, I mean, for me, it was mostly just, like, cutting out certain things.
Of course,
like, if they're,
audience
like...
would know all about this.
Yeah, like, if it's, like, pre-recorded and they're like, oh, I fucked up, let's do that take again. Then I'll just take the audio.
And then you just kind of insert it. Gotcha.
I just, like, clean it up and make sure it, like...
I'm sure there's way
presentable.
more to it.
Yeah. But that's pretty decent work. And then you can do mixing and mastering. That's a whole other... That takes a lot more time, but I think you can get paid better doing that if you can learn the trade. But yeah, once you do that a little bit, you kind of, like, start figuring out your process and, like, learning.
Word.
If you work on someone's record, then, like, they'll recommend you to their friends, and then you'll get work to them, and, like, it's just like a web, you know.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, my day job is sales. You get your clientele, and you do right by people, and then they refer you to, well, yeah, your clients send their friends to see you. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Chris, did you have any other cool questions for our
Me?
Our guest?
Are we ready?
Yeah,
of course, always.
I'm gonna grab another drink and cede the floor to you, sir.
Yeah, always, absolutely. Okay, so you started making music with the synthesizers. When did it turn into your current project now, though? When did it start turning into actually Auragraph? Like, when did you decide, okay, this is going to be me, this is going to be my sound? You know, I started off trying to kind of make a taiko sort of band with my friend. And when did it turn into something that became kind of a more personal thing for you?
That's a good question. So I had a band in Austin where it was just me and my friend, and he was a drummer, and I was, like, still playing guitar, like, doing live looping with like synths and stuff.
Yeah.
And I moved to LA, and I think he must have moved probably like 6 months after. So we kind of continued that project for a little while, and this was like 2016. And then he ended up leaving LA not too long after he moved. And I was like, well, I think I'm just gonna go solo because I think it will be easier. I don't have to, like, rely on anybody. I can just make music on my own, which is a different experience. Like, I think there are pros and cons to working with other individuals. I think it's, like, a really good, healthy thing to, like, have input on your music, you know?
Absolutely.
But yeah, at that point I was like, I'm just gonna try to make music on my own. And Auragraph kind of came about in, like, 2018. I think that was, like, the first year I put out a single, and I didn't release an album till 2020 just because I didn't know what to do with the album. Like, I had finished the record and I was like, well, see what happens. And I ended up releasing it on Cat System Corp's label.
Oh yeah, Hiraeth. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Pass the Field was released there.
Yeah.
You just sent it to them? Is that how it worked, or what?
Yeah, I sent it to Jornt, and he was like, yeah, man, this is sick. Like, let's do...
What a homie.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
So wait a second. So you knew about vaporwave at this point, then?
Yeah, I'd known about vaporwave for a while.
Yeah, let's hear your vapor journey. Give us the whole story.
Sure. I think the first time I came across vaporwave was, like, on YouTube. I'm trying to remember, like, I can definitely remember, like, stumbling across different Bandcamp pages and, like, listening to, like, albums, and I was like, well, this is, like, really interesting. Like, I listened to like News at 11, you know, that was, like, one
nice. So Cat System Corp was one of your first exposures that you really, like, remembered.
Yeah, him and obviously Luxury Elite. I listened to like
Hell yeah, the Queen.
yeah, World Class was amazing, and Windows 96. I listened to Pale Meditations.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And I remember listening to him on Spotify when he had like 3 monthly listeners
Mhm.
a long time ago. Like, and,
Wow.
yeah, and
You're
Vaporwave.
an early
like,
adopter.
yeah, it was like pretty early on. And then there was this playlist that I'm trying to. I know it's still on Spotify somewhere. Let me find it.
Yeah, link us up.
Let's see. Playlists. See all. Vaporwave by After Eating.
After
And they have,
eating, that's a deep cut. I got a couple after
they
eating
have,
tracks.
They have like a Diet Pepsi logo, and I guess 18 Karat Affair is like the first
Same.
track on there.
Yeah.
Big fan of Dennis's work.
Yeah, and that's kind of that. I mean, I had listened to Vaporwave like just on the internet for a while, and then it was kind of happenstance that I released on Cat System Corp's label, because I was just like sending the record to a bunch of people, and like he was one of the only people who got back to me. It was like, yeah, man, like
Unreal.
let's put your record out, and then I fell back into Vaporwave after that, because like I wasn't trying to make like a Vaporwave project. I was just making synth music.
Funny
you know?
how that works.
Mhm.
The scene is just too friendly and supportive sometimes.
Yeah, can't ignore it.
If you could go back in time to any point of your life and give your past self any advice, what would the advice be? I think you'd be careful for that question.
I guess just to like have fun, which I feel like I've been doing.
Right.
But sometimes it's easy to like get sidetracked and like get very like hard on myself when it comes to like art and stuff. But yeah, it's like the whole point of it
We're
is
always
just
our own worst critic.
yeah, and the whole point is just to have a good time and like meet friends, play shows, and like I don't know, just have a fun experience with it.
I watch Skelly's stories, of course, and he seems like he has a pretty good time always posting his work in progress. I'm sure that resonates with you as well.
I mean, I'm just like I'm a crazy person. Who knows what goes on my Instagram stories? Yeah, I post my work on it.
I enjoy watching them. He clearly knows how to have a good time.
I'm insane. There's no code to my Instagram stories. Sometimes they're that. Sometimes they're just like pictures of houses. I don't even know.
My rants are the favorite ones.
Oh yeah, sometimes that happens. That's like my Instagram stories are like a peek into my like manic mind. Anyway.
Another question from the chat. I think this was Soft Replica. How was it getting signed and working with 100% Electronica? And how does it feel to be moving on? For the next project, at least.
Cool. Yeah, it was great. I love working with George and Lindsay and Adam. That was like a really fun record to put out. And I'm still working with 100% Electronica on things like VR videos and stuff.
Sick. Is there anything this man doesn't do?
I like doing multiple different things, which is fun. But moving on, Dais, I'm excited. I'm always excited, I want to like work with so many different labels.
Sure.
Because that's just like the DIY in me is like.
That's the thing, right?
That's the
I feel
ethos,
that
man.
too.
Yeah.
I feel that too.
Just like I want to release on every label that I like.
There you go. It's hard to pick
Sounds
one.
like it sounds like a Fire Tools move.
True.
Yeah.
Mindspring Memories. It's like on like every like label. It's like Mindspring Memories album on it now.
Yeah, that's my dream. Like.
So, very interesting. So, I was going to ask a question. So, I don't know. I can't. Is there any questions in the chat right now?
Yes. While you think of your question, somebody said, "Do you struggle with creative block / burnout? If so, what helps you overcome / work through
now I remember my
get
question.
past it?"
Yeah, what do you
That's
do
a
for
good
that?
question. Yeah, for sure. I think every artist does, you know. For me, it always comes after I like finish a record. I'm trying to like immediately start a new record that has like a different tone or like theme, and I like have to try to find what the record's gonna be, and that process is always like kind of like demeaning because I feel like I like try so many different things and I'm like, oh, it's just not clicking, and like every time I'm like, I think I forgot how to make music or something, you know.
Right.
So I'll make a bunch of stuff.
Oh man, this is the one.
I
Yeah.
feel like that too
The river has
sometimes.
finally run dry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fuck, I don't.
Spoiler alert, it
It's just
happened.
not clicking. But then at some point, it's like, you know, a lot of the shit that we do is just like repetition. You just gotta keep doing it and keep creating, and eventually you'll find, you know, your sound or whatever, your voice.
I don't know if you guys are the same way, but I can say I'm just a DJ, man. But I live with an artist, and you know, the both of us seem to be given to just spurts of manic inspiration, and then sometimes a bit of a dry spell afterwards. Happens. You know, you can't force it.
Yeah. I mean, you put all your energy into like one project, and then at the end of the project, it's just like, I think it's natural to like, your mind and body is like, yo, let's like just take a little break, you know, take like a week off, and then
Get a fresh perspective.
yeah.
Chris,
sure.
question that you had.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you how you start your writing process, actually. Like,
Great question.
you know, you have all these synthesizers in the back. Do you pick one and say, all right, I'm going to start with this guy. Let me do a melody. Like, how does this work for you? Particularly someone like you who is a very hardware-based person. So, like, how does this
Oh,
start
it's
for
got to
you?
be so fun.
So it always starts with like picking a tempo, which is like pretty much consistently based on like my mood at the time.
Oh,
like if I'm pretty drunk and like wanting to have fun, I'll like try to make like a house beat, you know, something like up tempo, 100, 110, 120 BPM. Or if I'm like stoned or just sober or whatever, I'll try to make something that's like 70, 80, 90
Oh, wow.
BPM.
All over the place.
Okay. Interesting.
once
You
I-
start with the BPM. Yeah.
Yeah, once I kind of like find like my like where my headspace is at, and like
Guess that
I
makes
listen
sense,
to like
actually,
a click track, I'm like, then I'll get like the drums synced to the clock or whatever, and I'll start just like punching in patterns. And usually it starts with like a drum beat. I feel like Auragraph's pretty like drum centered, like it's kind of like always has like a 4 to the floor, or like there's like a dance beat to it, because it's like that's just like what I program right off the bat. But once I have like a beat, I'll be like, okay, like let me fuck around with playing some chords, and then I'll sit here in front of the computer, and I have this synth in this desk right here, and I'll just like
Nice.
just start fucking around until I find something that I'm like, oh,
So you
that
play it on, so you have a specific synth here that you write the stuff on first.
Yeah, well, under my desk I have this K5000 Hawaii synth, and I don't like. It's just like I mean, it has sounds in it, and it sounds really cool, but
You're using it to write
It's
the
like
MIDI
the
chords.
workhorse.
yeah, like it has like the MIDI's going into Logic, so I can send the MIDI anywhere in the room. So
I
like,
got it. So you have it all wired up. So wait, so are all your synths back there linked up to the MIDI, and so you can just pick which one you want to go to?
Clean.
Yeah, they're all
All of them?
Yeah.
Right? Look
All
at
of
this
them.
man.
All those
Hire this
analog
man
synths.
to clean your shit
Yeah.
up.
You got them all linked up. You don't even need to move them off that rack, and you have it
Let's
all.
hear it a third
You
time.
motherfucker! That is so. God damn it! I have to like do so much work to like move my synths all around my fucking room every time I need to do anything, and like I like tried so hard to like make this process easier, and like you got all those guys, even with like their different like pin outputs that are like an SH10. You can play your SH101 from here.
Yeah, so like
Motherfucker! God damn it! You know what you're doing. Jesus
I got
Christ!
He's so damn like
Oh my
humble.
God,
All right,
I wish-
let's zoom out real quick. All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
can
cool.
you
No,
see this?
you're good. Yeah. All right. I think I
What
got it
do
in the
you-
frame.
So I have this this like MIDI module.
Fuck.
That's
Okay,
like a
sorry.
Eurorack module.
Okay.
And the MIDI is coming from Logic. Then it goes into here and converts the MIDI to CV gate, which is what the 101.
Yeah,
has.
that's what I was about to say. All your CV gate stuff, like, because you have a lot of like old synthesizers.
Bro, can
that
you
clearly
imagine
aren't
when
gonna be
something
MIDI
isn't
compatible.
going right and he has to like follow the chain and figure out what parts?
Yeah,
not
right.
working? What
All
a
right, so go on.
goddamn nightmare!
Continue. Wait, I continue. Hector.
Sorry.
So what is this device, and how do I get it?
So
How do I
okay,
get
this one's
You
called
heard it on Hot Takes.
yarns.
A
Yarn.
yarn?
Yarns like yarn, like cat string, like
Yarn.
yarn. Yeah.
August, I have MIDI interfaces. It's just like I don't have enough to accompany all my fucking like 15 fucking synthesizers. But yeah, I have like a MIDI interface.
Yeah,
Obviously, I do
knows.
that. But like I can only do like two at a time or something like that. And I definitely don't have the CV gate shit that like I've never gotten around to like stuff to change my CV gate stuff before. So like I am aware, like I don't need to like just grab a
You're
synth.
gonna
Like,
end
I
up in
have
the liner notes of the
I
next
have
Skelly
some
album.
knowledge here. I do have like that. But like I don't have this thing where there's like 15 synthesizers that are all like put into one module, and he has to play one motherfucking MIDI synth underneath his desk keyboard and be like do 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 do.
Hey,
Yes, I'll send that to the
You remember when you
Jupiter.
went and
Like,
bought a
what the
mixer
fuck?
just for fun before Terminally Chill after the Econ
Yes, I do
Afterparty?
need a
You
bigger
just went and
interface,
bought a
that's
mixer.
correct.
Just do that
I
again.
do. All right, so go back. I got that's a yarn. What's it called?
Yarn, like a
yarn.
spool of
A
yarn.
yarn. All right. Okay.
Yeah, but yarn's
A yarn.
like plural. Yarns.
Okay, yarns. All right.
Yeah,
Okay, see,
so-
Lux has already put the
Hey,
link up
this
for
brings me to a
Hey,
really great question that Nathan asked. And Rail says, "Are there any dream
you,
synths
thank you,
that you
Lux.
wish you had?"
Oh yeah, I wish I had a
Oh
Jupiter
my god,
8.
I can hear her howling in the background.
She's cracking up. I can't believe
She
she
is.
already had it up. Thank you.
She's amazing. Any dream
Hey,
synths you wish
All
you
right,
had?
so
Thank you,
Jupiter
Nathan.
8, yeah. Yeah,
Jupiter 8.
Jupiter 8.
Wow, yeah.
Prophet VS is another one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want them all. It's like fucking Pokemon, something, you know?
Wow. So what are
You're
you...
gonna have to-
Yes. What interface are you using to bring all the synthesizers? Are they all plugged into a big mixer right now so you can play them all back and record them as well?
Yeah, the mixer is what my laptop is sitting on. So like,
Oh, okay.
He has it,
What
like,
kind of mixer
perched.
do you have? What is this mixer? Which mixer do you use?
Bruh. This
No,
man
I
is
need
on
to know
another
this.
level.
I'm trying to like... Oh, wow. All right, gotcha.
Mac-
Bro,
Thirty-two.
don't ever move out of that apartment. It's going to be
32.
such a nightmare.
oh,
No, because
I
like I need to know all this because my life is so difficult when I write music sometimes.
I'll
All right,
tell you.
Mac.
Mackie
got it.
32.8.
Oh, that's you,
32 channels.
Just send your equipment list to Skelly after the show.
okay. This is I'm just trying to like make my life
Dude,
easier.
they're cheap and they have like the coolest preamps. Like people would use these preamps. They overdrive them to make
Yeah.
like gabber music. Like they'll send
Really?
them
To make
Kick
Gabber nice, where it's like just a big chunky rectangle of a song.
Yeah, this is what they look like.
Oh wow!
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna totally
Don't get it from
work
Guitar
over my
Center. They
whole
inevitably
setup.
don't have it. Maybe a floor model, and it's like twice the price that it should
Yeah, and
be.
it's like it's been like
It's been
Hey, can we
stepped
take
all
a
over.
quick break?
Yes.
I was gonna. Okay, just gonna run to the restroom.
All right, that's cool. You take a break. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll do.
Oh, thanks, Carlos. But now I'm Skeleton Lipstick and you're Auragraph, just so you know.
Oh, all right.
I guess now would be an opportune time to just, once again, unless you have anything special or specific to say, just thank everybody for being here, for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
Hot Takes wouldn't be what it is without you guys, our regulars and first-time chat viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the new subs tonight. Thanks for keeping me honest as far as like levels and audio quality. And for anybody that's donated to the PayPal, I don't have. I haven't figured out. I've been working with Discoholic. Shout out Discoholic to figure out.
Shout out Discoholic.
Shout out Disco to figure out how to link the donations. You gotta understand this is a DIY outfit, so we got that. We're working on that. But to anybody that feels so led to donate, I'll go ahead and drop the link again. Completely optional, but very, very much appreciated. This mic boom, I got this because of you guys. Thank you again for your help. You already know we keep it in-house. We always hire our friends. We've commissioned DS Dudes, Sega Octopus, PJ Rourke, Renee Eperita, couple other people whose names are escaping me at the moment. We commission our friends, your friends, in the scene for visual artwork, promo spots, ads, and sorry you didn't like the Perturbator track, Soft Replica. But anyways, thank you guys in advance if you feel so led to donate. If you don't, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook, put it on Insta. That's free. Oh, there we go. He's back. Thanks for letting me run that monologue, Skelly. Some fun ones, man. In Rail asked a little while back, what are some of your favorite video games?
Super Smash Brothers is
Hell
up
yeah.
there for sure. Lately I've been playing Mario Party with my friends on the what is it? What's the new Nintendo? Nintendo Switch?
Well, there's the newer Switch with the OLED screen, but I mean, same.
Yeah, we just we'll play Mario Party, which is really fun. But I'm kind of disappointed that you can't play Mario Party with your friends online. Because I was like, oh fuck, I'll go buy a Switch right now. Like that sounds really
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Just, you know, just have all your friends play Mario Party, but I guess you can't do that. And then I was like,
Man, I remember when the first Mario Party came out. Do you?
yeah, for sure.
It was oh my god. Do you remember like making your like palm of your hand raw with the
Yeah.
You're supposed to
fucking
use your thumb,
joystick.
right? But you just cheat and you just,
Yeah. I also played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That shit was
Very
fun. A lot of music in that too that I was like, oh shit, Rage Against the Machine, like
Nice.
this is pretty Power Man 9000 or whatever.
Right.
It's like, yeah, this is pretty punk. Yeah, punk, you know. What I thought was punk, but
Right. Oh
Yeah.
Don't get the good doctor started on what real punk
No,
is.
when we're young, we don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, we
True.
don't really get it.
We had a
We don't
really
get it
fun
yet.
chat with Dan about emo and like classic emo versus Midwest emo. You know, the
like
whole-
American football.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
enjoyable time talking Midwest emo with Dan Mason last episode.
Good old
Awesome.
Dan.
We got some other fun ones that are from way earlier in the episode. Soft Replica wanted to know, since you referenced a lot of 16 and 32 and 64-bit era games, aquatic ambience or dire docks?
Damn. That's pretty tough. I would say aquatic ambience.
Aquatic ambience.
But Dire Dogs is like, I mean,
It's up there, right? That electric
Yeah.
piano sound is
yeah, DX7.
Chef's kiss.
It's classic.
Yeah, see, he even knows what it's called. Not me.
Yeah, I have 4 of them. 4 DX7s. down.
Yeah, 4 DX7s.
Yeah, they're
I
in
mean-
they're in a rack mount.
He has like one in a box in case someone steals. He's like in a
Why-
cartoon.
why do you
Someone
have-
steals one of them and he just pulls
what do
another
you-
one
what
out.
do you- What do you do with 4 DX7s? Are they
So-
you play them all at once?
Yeah,
Layer
so
it?
this box that I have is the TX816, and each module is a DX7.
Oh
You can
my
have
God.
up to 8 of them, but
What?
basically what you do, what's really fucking cool, is you set each one to the same patch, and then you detune them slightly. So
Oh,
it
so you
makes
get a
it
really
sound-
wide sound.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes like
that's
a chorus.
that was like one of I remember when I first started playing around with synthesizers, like that was like one of the first like really big aha moments I had with was like, oh, take my oscillators and like detune them both a little bit. One to the left, one around, and like, oh, like it's that big sound.
That
And
sounds
I remember
really
being
interesting.
like, wow, synthesizers are amazing, and like I just learned some kind of crazy hack now. So I can't even imagine doing that with all those DX7s. That must be amazing.
It's cool. Yeah, it just sounds like chorus, you know?
Yeah, it sounds awesome,
Amazing.
man. That's like one of the biggest hacks to learn.
I
with
can't believe you
synthesizers.
can't just blow up that room with
It's gonna be
audio on
those
those
stereo.
monitors without getting yelled at. Like just
I know,
having
yeah.
What kind of
just
studio
being
monitors
immersed
do you
in
use?
swirling sounds in that room would be such an orgasmic experience.
Yeah, it's a shame. I
What
gotta
kind of studio mod? Because since I'm like just picking your brain about like your whole setup right now, because I
yeah.
think it's like one of my favorite setups I've seen for any of the people we've had on the
Right?
show.
Amazing.
It's maybe my favorite setup I've ever seen for anybody we've ever had on the show.
That's awesome.
What's your studio monitors?
So I have the Dine Audio. I think they're
Okay.
LYD6.
Okay.
Gotta look them up. Dine Audio.
Where's that Guitar Center link?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, they're the LYD7
Very
thing.
cool.
But yeah, these are the same ones that the Survive guys use, so we all have the same
Nice.
Oh, they use
setup. That
okay.
way we can listen
Nice.
to the same stuff, you know.
What kind of headphones do you use? Monitor headphones do you use?
These Audio Technicas.
Audio Technica. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know the model number, but these are so old. I need to get new ones. They're like really cheap, but
You're gonna have to transfer some of the synth budget to the headphone budget.
the headphone budget. Yeah, I know. I'm like mentally preparing myself. for
Lux,
that.
hit us with a link for those monitors. Thank you.
No, that's
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
She doesn't
not.
even play.
She did not.
We're gonna have to start like
God.
giving her a little stipend from the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Syllabus says, "What's that poster or album on the back wall?"
Oh, so this was. I can just bring it up to the.
Yeah,
camera.
sure, bring it.
I know. Yeah. Here we go. It's a show that I played in Austin, Texas,
Ooh.
right before COVID. Night school with Bone, Curse Mackey, Future Blondes, and Auragraph. It was
Very
one of my
cool.
first Auragraph shows ever. 2019.
I do love some Austin, Texas, man. I'm gonna try to keep it short, but I got some good
Dude.
friends. I already told you, give Mission Indigo a big hug.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you've met my buddy Corp and Hiraeth, have you? Sunset Waves.
Yeah, I have actually.
Yep.
Oh my god, I released music on Sunset Waves.
Are you playing with me? Stop
and, like,
it.
Really?
No,
Serious,
as
yeah.
Auragraph.
Oh
No.
wow.
So the last project I had before Auragraph was called Tokayo, which is spelled
Tokayo.
Tocaio.
I'm gonna look up my iTunes library right now because I met Corbin in Amarillo, and I have Bonfire in my library. Summer Sun Volume 4, baby, unreal.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that
this is too cool. Small world.
Yeah, we talk about Corbin a lot on the show. That's so funny that
he's
you,
definitely a future guest.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him on.
He lives in Austin now, right? Yeah.
He does.
know it does.
He kind of goes back and forth between Amarillo and Austin, which is a long way. But Lux,
That's
thank you
cool.
again for the link. She already posted the Tokayo track.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Put a little hammer for Bop next to
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it. For a
I
tip
always want to move back to Austin, but it's gotten pretty expensive now.
Bop. Really.
It's like it's the city. It's kind of different now. Like when I went back and like felt like a different city. But yeah, like when I lived there, it was kind of a dream because like my rent was like $400.
Unreal.
You know,
I
was
know
just in-
hella people in
I was
Austin, and I've always kind of wanted. You know, the most controversial thing I'll say this episode is if I had to move back to Texas, that's where I would move.
for sure. Yeah, it's the coolest city.
It is.
Texas.
Chris, have you been? I'm sure you've been.
To Austin?
Yeah.
No, I have never.
Oh,
been.
you'd love
shit.
it. You got to go to South by at some point.
I will definitely
very
make my way to Austin.
We also had a good one from Soft Replica earlier. Wants to help settle an eternal debate that has actually only started recently, but it's a fiery one. We want to know Slow Dive or My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody Valentine, just because I know more songs.
Nicely
Yeah.
done.
Nicely done.
We've been getting a lot of Slow Dive lately,
We have.
and
So that's classic. I mean, they're both, legendary artists. It's a very hard choice to pick.
I'm MBV as well. I'm on MBV team. I mean, everybody usually the response is usually Souvlaki, and they're right.
I'm Team
That's
Slow
no
Dive,
argument.
so
Yeah, that's
we're a
fair.
house
And look,
divided.
I don't think there's a wrong answer personally.
Of course not.
There's not, yeah.
I guess my only gripe is I feel like Loveless is just kind of there's not much low end, but
All right, that's fair. But
I
like
wasn't
it a
there.
lot.
I still love it a lot. I do, especially the second track. I think it's called Loomer. Like, damn. Beautiful.
Christ.
Chat, go ahead and help. You guys have been so on fire tonight. Run up the questions for Mr. Auragraph.
Yeah.
I got some from my my special selection. Feel free to interrupt me at any
Special
time, Chris.
Ooh.
Who
for
are
it.
some
No,
people
let's hear
that
it.
you think should be on the show?
Ooh. Well, I know
Off the
you all have
wall.
already had like a very good all-star cast so far. Trying to
pretty
think
proud
of
of it.
who has. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who hasn't been on.
You've got a lot of people still to go. We're saving a bunch of people. Yeah, we have had a lot of people on.
Well,
That
I
is
mean,
true.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. My mind is drawing a blank.
You're good.
now.
You can come back to that question because the chat
Yeah, I have
has
a question.
responded. Go ahead, Chris.
I have questions too. I think that what I want to say right now is like if you guys haven't had an opportunity to do so, make sure you check out Auragraph live because it's a stellar experience. It's really fun. I went to go see our buddy here in New York a few months ago, and I was dancing the entire time. I had like the best time. Those songs.
Oh yeah,
kick
so danceable. I'm gonna have to
So-
work some shit into some future DJ sets for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my god, it kicks live. It's so fun. So I have a question: is how what is the biggest challenge for you translating what you do in the studio to what you do live? Like, obviously, you cannot bring all your synths with you, so you
Yeah.
can maybe only bring a few. You're gonna have to pick and choose what sounds you're gonna play, what sounds are gonna be samples, what sounds are gonna be on the pads. You know what I mean? That you're
Yeah.
gonna be activating. What's the biggest challenge for you transferring to live? You know what I mean? Doing this live.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like the biggest challenge is just like the act of like making that decision, like what I want to sample, and then actually like putting it into the MPC. That's kind of like,
Yeah.
if I make a whole new live set, that's like a day or two of work, like
Yeah.
in the total time. Like it takes quite a while.
Yeah.
I recently got a new MPC, which is like an MPC live that it's kind of like a modern MPC, so it's like much
Yeah.
easier to like make the live sets on there. But yeah, I kind of have to make like conscious decisions, like what do I want my SH101 to do, what do I want Eurorack to do, what do I want the MPC to do. And that's the biggest challenge, but it always kind of comes together last minute, like a day before the show, and I'm like, oh,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, whatever, just this will be fine.
The day before the New York show, you were sort of just like still figuring it out.
Yeah, maybe 2 days before, because the day
Oh.
before,
Wow, this guy
Really?
doesn't get bothered about
Wow.
anything.
yeah,
That's
Unreal.
crazy, man.
I'm like, oh, let's see, see what I can get away with this time.
Soft Replica has a really good question for you. He says, does Auragraph have any advice for electronic artists moving to the live music realm? How has the
Oh,
process of
great-
adapting
great question.
Auragraph music for live shows been?
It's been great because I come from a like live music background. Like I grew up
True.
being in bands and stuff, so like I'm kind of used to like, like I have like all my pieces kind of represent. The 101 is like a bass synth, my Eurorack is like guitars, my MPC is the drums. So I kind of try to think of it that way. And I think
Nifty.
maybe like my biggest piece of advice would be like just try to like simplify it as much as possible. Focus on like what's going to be the most fun for you to do live versus trying to
Yeah.
do like
Because the
everything.
audience can tell, if you're having a good time or not.
Yeah,
It's hard
and
to
that's the
fake.
whole point. You want to have a good time when you're playing the show. You don't want to be like a fucking math wizard, trying to like patch in all these things. Like my shit, like even though it looks kind of crazy, it's very. It used to be a lot crazier, and I've tried to like make it the most simplified version of what it can be, so I can just fun. And I think that's the whole point. Like just do what you think is gonna be the best to give your audience a good show and to have fun yourself,
Right.
jam out. But yeah,
Yeah, a little stage presence, a little showmanship goes a long way. Chris and I would know.
Yeah.
For sure.
We got another good one in the chat. Are you collabing on any songs? Do you do much collabing? That's one of my personal curiosities.
yeah. Well, I have done some collaborations with like, we were mentioning this earlier, like Cat System Corp, FM Skyline.
Right.
I had Missions remix a track, who's a good friend of mine.
Missions.
On the Holodeck Records label. And yeah, you know, I want to explore more collaborative stuff. Like, I'd love to do a whole album with someone, you know, at some point. But it's just, you know, those things kind of always just happen.
Yeah.
So I don't really try very hard reach out. I'm just like, if it comes up in conversation naturally,
Right.
maybe at a show or something, then yeah, you know, I'm very open to that, which is cool. But
I think remixes are a lot of fun and features
Yeah.
personally. But then again, I'm a, you know, we DJ, we mash stuff up. I don't make mashups per se, but like we are constantly thinking, oh, that would sound good with that. You know, that fits right in with that. So
Do we still use the word mashups? Are we done using that word?
I don't
Right?
know. I mean,
So-
some
Mashup.
people
Like,
still make them.
I agree with you when you said like
Hot
I
take.
would call it a mashup. It's
Go
like,
off.
Yeah, it's like why don't we just call it mixing? You know what I mean?
I don't mash.
I agree
most
with you.
stuff up. I
I'm
mean,
I'm agreeing with you, Shiro. Like like I don't. Let's just stop using that word in general now. It's so fucking Glee sounding. Anyway,
so Glee sounding. Oh man, gauche, as it were.
Gauche, yeah.
And Rail says, did you ever use Rosen's Yamaha CS80?
yeah,
Oh wow.
for
What?
sure,
Really?
all the time.
CS80.
I never recorded it, but yeah, I mean, you know, CS80's like, that's what was used to make Blade Runner.
I
you
mean,
know?
that's the synth, right? Like, there's not even that many of them existing.
Greatest
They're
film
so
of all
cheap,
time.
right? I've seen like the
Yeah.
footage of like Vangelis playing it and such, and I know that like I know there's like very few people that even have that piece
Yeah.
right there. Like, I mean, I think like obviously you guys know somebody with one, and that must have been crazy to actually touch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Rob at Rosen Sound, I used to like do engineering at his studio, which is, I live in Burbank, and like he's very
Sick.
close to me. I think he has like 5 or 6 of them.
What? Is it 5 or 6 of them?
Yeah, he's
What?
Crazy. They're also huge. You know what I mean?
I had one. This is a funny
Listen,
story,
man,
but
some people live in warehouses.
yeah, well,
Yeah, and Rail's like the CS80 is like 300 pounds.
Poor
Yeah,
motherfucker has to
exactly.
move them.
one time, my friend and
How do you
I,
get 5 of them? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's like
he-
1,500 pounds.
1,500 pounds of synthesizer.
Well, one time my friend and I had to move one of them because part of the job at the synth shop was like, you know, client will call and be like, hey, I want to rent this fucking synth that you only have. Nobody else really has it. I want to rent it from you, you know. And we would take it in my truck, and we took it to Vampire
You're
Weekend.
just like casually taking a CS80 in
It's
your
like
truck.
in the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
like
I have-
this is like the most surreal thing. This is almost as surreal to me as like hotel pools.
He
like
is from
calling
Laredo,
up
bro.
calling up Lady Gaga. Remember when Ben calls up Lady Gaga
Yeah.
accidentally because he's got her phone number in this thing. So you're just trucking along, fucking CS80. Go on,
Yeah.
continue.
We got it. We took it to Vampire Weekend's studio in Silver Lake, which was, they have like multiple studios, but this was just like, oh, we're just gonna make some demos, and we had to, my friend Caesar and I had to, just us had to
Yeah.
carry it on up the stairs, these little fucking tiny little delicate Silver Lake stairs,
What?
set it up in their studio, and
Bruh, that's
Jesus
terrifying.
Christ.
What happens
That's
if you break
terrifying.
well, the good thing is that Rosen Sound's a synth repair shop, so
it? Oh, they
broke
can
it,
just
like,
fix it.
They can
I
just
just
fix
can't
it.
even believe like the pressure of having to like push a CS80 like up these tiny little stairs for fucking Vampire Weekend.
mean,
for
it
their,
took
like,
us-
demos.
It took us like an hour to get it up
Bro.
like one flight of stairs. Like it was.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy.
This is for Vampire Weekend, who's not even like a synthesizer band.
I know,
Like,
right?
they're
They
just
probably
trucking
didn't
up,
even
like,
use the shit.
The most important, rare, expensive, and heaviest synthesizer ever created for
Yeah.
like Vampire Weekend to fuck around on a demo with. And they're just like, yeah, just bring it up the stairs for us. Thank you. All right, what
Yeah.
the fuck, man? Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
And once we
Unreal.
got to the top, I was like, well, at least the views are cool, you know. 'cause you can see all of LA. I was like, damn.
What was this? So they could fucking like add a little sprinkle of synthesizer on like, you know,
I know,
Diane
right? They
Young
write like
or
a
whatever.
quick little
I
Brian
don't even
Eno
know.
3-second intro.
Like a
and
quick
they're
little
okay,
Brian
you can
Eno
have it back.
3-second. They're like,
Took
yeah,
him
thanks
longer
a
to
lot.
get it up the
Can you
stairs
bring
than
it
it
back
did for
down the
them to
stairs
use
now?
it.
Fuck you, Vampire Weekend.
I think
Fuck.
they
Seriously.
rented it for like 2 days, and I'm pretty sure I like called in sick.
Bruh.
It was supposed to be picked up. I was like,
Fuck
oh,
that shit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Poor
Fucking
Caesar had to
Vampire
do it
Weekend.
one man.
Just, yeah, Vampire Weekend just casually orders a CS80 to just be delivered up several flights of stairs.
You got the
Fuck
haves and
you.
you got the have-nots.
Fuck you, Vampire Weekend. Jesus Christ.
All right,
like a
time for the
little bit of
soundtrack.
like
Fuck you,
for-
Vampire Weekend.
For like seriously, man, for you're not even a synthesizer based band. You just like you're like, wouldn't it be fun to have a CS80? Like we did like a little run. Maybe make us seem a little cool. Fuck you. I can't. I'm done with indie rock. I've been done with it for years now.
yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
But that was fun.
that's fun though. It's a great story.
Man, it just kind of reminds me of I was having a chat with somebody who used to work for Of Montreal. You guys remember Of Montreal?
Yeah.
Somebody
for
used
sure.
to work for them when they were touring, and apparently they had just gotten over like a great European tour, and then they came to Austin for Fun Fest. It was raining, and they like lost power to their stage, like 45 minutes into the set, and the lead singer just storms off the stage, which I thought was kind of theatrical, but I got the inside scoop, the 411 from the guy that was working on the show, and he was like, "Man, everything went wrong that day." But boy, can they be some divas, those indie rock, those successful indie rock artists.
Yeah, it's like there's no more rock stars anymore, you know.
But you know, there's always the ones that kind of remain humble too.
Oh sure, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right, we got some more questions. What's going on here?
Yeah, I have one for you, man. Is there a favorite video or like movie or just anything, any visual, anything that we can get from you that kind of like inspires you or like personifies or embodies or
Yeah.
anything? Favorite
great
YouTube
question.
video, whatever?
Movie,
Very
book, whatever.
cliche, but like Beyond the Mind's Eye is obviously like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I asked the
Mind's
question. I
Eye.
was like, this motherfucker's gonna say Mind's Eye.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Good taste, sir.
Yeah. But I mean, beyond that too, it's like I grew up watching like skate videos and stuff,
Mhm.
and I feel like
word.
they always kind of had like an interesting way of like filming things, presenting. Like I think I probably also got a lot of like musical influence through old skate videos, you know?
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It's kind of like now like it's just a combination of like visual work and music, you know.
Have
what
you
I do.
noticed, just weird aside, have you noticed a lot of the lo-fi house artists are using old skate tapes for their videos?
Yeah, totally.
And just like 90s VCR footage. I constantly tell people, Chris agrees, I constantly tell people this lo-fi house movement is very vapor adjacent.
Yeah, totally.
What with
Yeah.
the use of all
sure.
those like
The like graphic design looks like old rave posters, you know, that you would see like in
very much so.
There's a lot of 90s like Y2K, just 90s in general.
Oh yeah. No format is probably the worst offender, but I'm a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty interesting for sure.
If I can tap you for a little bit, we got 15 minutes left in hot takes. What is we went on some hot ones, man. Sorry, but I gotta ask. What do you think is the biggest problem with music right now?
Artists aren't getting paid enough.
That's true.
Absolutely, fire take right there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure most artists would agree, you know. So it's not like a super hot take or anything, but yeah, it would be cool if like, you know, all of us were getting paid like a very fair wage for streaming royalties and stuff, so we could actually like commit to music full time. I know there's a lot of people who do that anyway, but it's still tough, you know, to like just be a musician full time, especially when gas is like here in California, it's like $7 a gallon or something.
Oh my god, dude, unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think
I
that's
thoroughly agree, and I respect anyone and everyone that's quit their day job to make music.
for sure. Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy, but it's worth it, you know.
Why do you think some acts are popular and some aren't?
The algorithm.
True.
Yeah, fair.
What about prior to that?
I remember talking to Dan about that. I'm like, Dan, how are you so fucking popular? He's like, I don't know. He's like,
We got
something
some
put me in the right
scoops.
spot. He's like, something put me in the right spot. I got on something, and now he's like, I'm just stuck in this algorithm. And he's like, it's worked out very well for me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But
But
Dan, I
yeah.
remember asking Dan, like, how do you do it? He's like, I have no idea. I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Like, so you were asking, like, what about before the algorithm, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you know, we had like studios and like talent scouts, I guess, but like,
Well, yeah, I think a lot of it back then too, you know, who knows, but I think if you have like a good foundation, you know, if you have a lot of it, unfortunately, is like if you have money to put into your project, you can kind of put that into PR, advertising.
You can put
Whatever.
that into like, you know, someone like, just
Groovy Kaiju has a
paying
lot
for-
of knowledge about that.
Groovy Kaiju is like genius when it comes to like navigating this world, you know, and doing it all on his own and doing it like legitimately. You know what I mean? Like he's the man for that sort of thing. Like he's actually like he has built like that, and his lo-fi hip hop act. You know, he's just like he's built that in the most crude and independent way as possible, and like he's like the one guy. He's the guy when it comes to that. But but most people, yeah, I agree. Like it's like, you know, you're just like the fucking child of a celebrity or the child of a lawyer in Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, yeah, it's just paid for everything. People always try and tell me about Willow Smith and how great she is. I don't give a fuck. If she's great, she better be. She's all the money in the fucking world. If she wasn't great, that'd be a
No
problem.
shit, right? Like
No
all of
shit.
them. They always
Who
like
fucking cares?
masquerade as these
All- their
rags
own-
to
all
riches,
their job-
salt of the earth
Their
fucking
only
people.
job is to fucking have talent, and they can hire everybody else around them. They better be great because they have all the fucking money and resources in the world. Can you imagine if they're bad? Give me a fucking break. There's no excuse for you to be bad. Like you have everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, but I think good music always finds its audience, you know?
It does. It always finds its audience. That's correct. You know, your music, like the thing is, it really does. It might not be the biggest audience in the world, but it finds it. You know, finds people who care about it. I've found that myself.
Well, even like earlier we were talking about like Midwest emo and stuff, and it's like the story of American football. Like their album didn't really gain popularity until like 10 years.
It's a cult.
Yeah,
classic
I mean,
for
I
sure.
remember when American football came out, and I remember thinking it was a bit of a more of a minor act in that world. Honestly, like I was paying a lot more attention to Jawbreaker or Jets to Brazil after that, or Get Up Kids,
Jets to
or
Brazil.
you know, or Get Up Kids, or The Anniversary, or
The
whatever else was
Anniversary.
around back then. Yeah, exactly. I was paying a
Fun.
lot more attention to, you know, I was paying definitely a lot more attention to what Tim Kinsella was doing than what Mike Kinsella was doing. Like I was like, oh, Mike Kinsella in American football. He also has another band called Owen. That's like Tim Kinsella's little brother, and because Tim Kinsella was Cap and Jazz, which is like way more important to me.
Sorry to say,
than
I completely
American football
agree.
was. But then, like, yeah, 10 years later, like American football turns out to be like the early '90s, the late
Like
90s
quintessential.
emo act that everybody name checks now, and I was like, didn't see that one coming personally, but yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
They got popular on like I think 4chan and YouTube and stuff, where
They
like
did, yeah.
were like just like running up that album, which is it's interesting. Like
It's interesting.
make art, like it as long as you're true to yourself, you know, it will find where it needs to be at some point, I think.
I like that attitude. Before we go into the outro portion of our show, I got a couple other good ones for you. Can you describe for me your favorite kind of music?
My favorite kind of music. Well, yeah, I think it's always changing, but it's yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, I feel like it's kind of fundamentally rooted in like something that is like dance music or like house music. I listen to like a lot of that's like left of field house, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
that raw shit.
Yeah, but like a lot of it is also like I kind of listen with like a producer's ear, and like I like what So like things that incorporate like the 808, the Lindrum, you know, big like analog synths, like bass stuff, like just like industrial music, you know.
Word.
I'm into. It's always changing. Like I'll have moments where I'm like really in that specific type of genre. Like maybe I'm listening to like a lot of Dais Records and or like Ghostly or something.
Love
and then
Ghostly.
maybe yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ghostly's amazing.
Who are some of your favorite Ghostly acts?
I really like Shigeto.
Shigeto is fucking fire.
Yeah, Shigeto's awesome.
Did you ever listen to
like-
the site below?
No,
It was like ambient music with a dance beat. It was the craziest shit.
damn. I need to check
Shigeto's
that out.
fire. Tycho, Comtrues.
Yeah, Tycho, Comtrues, yeah.
Luzine?
Right.
Fan of Luzine at all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Got to see Luzine in Vegas, actually. There were like 5 people in the crowd. It was wild.
Yeah, that's cool.
stuff.
Xeno and Oaklander, really cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, deep cut right
Met
there.
him live
Mux
before,
Mool.
yeah,
Any
for
Mux Mool love?
Yeah, definitely.
Apparently he's kind of a
Also-
jerk in real life, but he's a great composer. Shame.
Yeah. Black Marble. is
Oh
sick.
yeah, Black Marble. Yep.
Yeah.
In real, you got to see Shigeto? I didn't know you were a Shigeto fan. Nice.
Yeah,
Trying to
Shigeru's
think
cool.
of who else. There's somebody huge I'm probably missing. Good stuff.
All right, it's getting pretty late. We got to do
It
some
is.
shout outs soon.
You need to go to sleep. So
I do
we
need to
like
go
to
to sleep.
open this.
I love
and
you. I love
I
both of
actually
you
do
very
too.
much, and I love everybody in the chat very much. But I am, I'm still like slightly
to go
going
to
through
sleep.
it. So I gotta
I-
go to sleep.
I would very much love to give the good doctor some rest because I do too. So, Carlos, this is the moment where we like to open the floor up to you and let you say anything you want. You can give us your hottest take. You can shout out anything you want, promote anything. So the floor is yours.
Well, I guess watch Stranger Things. I have
Yeah.
some music in it.
Seconded.
Which, I have a record coming out in a month or so. But that's kind of it. That's all I got to promote. Besides that, oh yeah, show in Austin that is happening.
Yeah, Body Cruise.
Body Cruise. Let me look at my calendar.
Yeah, we need the date. We need the address. We need the lineup.
That is happening at Sahara Lounge, June 23rd, Austin, Texas. Auragraph, Streamcatcher, Mission Indigo, Nitas, Acapulco 86, and visuals by Drip Cuts.
Did you
So
say
that's good.
Lunitas is going to be there?
Yeah.
Lunitas.
Previous
That's
guest
very
on the
good
show.
friend of the show.
Previous good friend of the show and previous guest.
Luis is very close to our hearts.
We love.
Thanks for the link,
Love
Lux.
Yeah.
So you heard it. June 23, Sahara Lounge. Be there. If you're in Austin, or if you're... I mean, you know, Texans are used to having to drive for hours and hours and hours to get... Dude, I drove 8 hours from Amarillo to Austin multiple times. You can do it.
Yeah. All my friends think I'm crazy because I'm like, oh yeah, like 5-hour drive, that's like short.
That ain't
for me.
shit.
Jesus.
I drove from Vegas to Davis to play Terminally Chill NorCal. It wasn't shit. Tehachapi was beautiful. Central California sucked. Sorry, y'all. Ugh. Modesto and Fresno. Anyways,
Hell yeah.
be there. Follow this man. He's got some great things on the horizon. And as I said earlier, buy Opacity Field. Don't just listen to it. Buy it.
An amazing album.
It's
Buy it.
so good. Like, it's a cut above.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you all for having me on the show. Like,
Thank
course.
you.
All right.
Go, Chris.
Okay, you can buy my Polymath Vampire album on Business Casual right now. Available.
amazing.
There's the link for that. Thank you
It's
very much. I
beautiful.
appreciate it. Oh, thank you. You're very kind. And then, of course, June 10th, I will be playing a show with our dear friends Fiber, previous guest on the show, and also Pad Shennington, and our dear friends Mir No Tilde and Melanade. And here is the link for that. That'll be in Boston, June 10th. There you are for that. And I've got remixes coming up soon for our dear friend Be Careful and Patch Notes. And those should be coming out
Love,
relatively
be
soon as
careful,
well.
and patch notes.
Yes. All right. I'm good.
So, just shout out to the good doctor. I myself just played a Sight Sounds and Conversations
with Codex Boy Encyclopedia and Sega Octopus last Saturday, alongside TWA and Manila Ice and Earth Boy Advance. So I've got a Vapor Trap, 30-minute Vapor Trap set on SoundCloud and YouTube that I dedicated to my dear friend, my very first friend I made in LA, DS Dude, one of my best Rosewood buddies.
Yes, dude.
I'm going to link that SoundCloud set in the chat.
Great guy.
Lots of Blank Banshee, Blank Body if you like Vapor Trap. Check it out. And of course, definitely tune into Sight Sounds and Conversations. It's definitely one of the more left field live stream events that the scene has. Thanks to Codex Boy Encyclopedia and Sega Octopus, who did my visuals, by the way, for that. Got a event that I'm going to be participating in. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say who, what, when, or where, but I'm doing a 20-minute deconstructed club set. Lots of really bombastic, just unsettling vibes that I put together. Ins in a bang, stereotypical Young Shiro fashion. Excited about that. A couple people in chat know exactly what I'm talking about, so I don't want to get in trouble with them and name drop anything that hasn't been announced yet. Got a tour that I'm going to be participating in that has also not been announced yet. So, opening for some people that are also in chat, some great people in the northeastern part of the U.S. Coming up here pretty soon in August. No names, but it's going to be really, really cool. Good times. What else do I got going on? I'm playing an IRL show where I live here on a local access TV show. Simple Syrup says keep that info in here. All right. I'll clip it out. Anyways, I'm playing a local access TV show coming up here pretty soon with some local talent. Very excited about that. And then if anything, just tune in 2 weeks. We're going to have our good friend Syllabus on the show. Syllabus, shout out, OG. Lovely person. Very excited to be able to sit down with Syllabus and interview her about her experience within the vaporwave scene. Again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much to all the regulars. Thank you so much to all the new chat people and all the new subs. Again, feel free if you feel so led to donate. I'm going to go ahead and plug that one more time. Not imperative, but very, very much appreciated. All donations go to equipment upgrades and commissioning. Your friends, our friends. Auragraph, thank you so much for being our special guest this evening.
Yeah, thank you, man.
We really, really enjoyed getting to dig in deep. Hope to see more of you going forward, buddy. Hope to see some great things. I mean, you've already got great things, but we want to thank you very much for giving us your time this evening.
Absolutely.
All right, you heard it on Hot Takes. Be here, same time, same place in 2 weeks, 9 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Hot Takes Vapor. Good night.
Night.
Nice.
That's a hot take.
Swinging around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass, but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Don't touch my records. Ever.